Welcome to another edition of the Hoop Scoop. I'm Jarret Johnson, and I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, this is the best Hoop Scoop we've done, I'm going to say, since after the Final Four in Minneapolis. Man, what an exciting night, opening night. Texas Tech, of course, defeated Eastern Illinois 85-60 in a really impressive showing. You had the banners being unveiled, both the Final Four and the Big 12 championship banners. And I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I think I will. For both of us, they exceeded expectations of opening night. And with the competition, all that included, just an all-around really impressive night from Red Raider basketball, Chris Beard and the team. What would you say, Joe?
Yeah, it was a banner evening.
Right. Literally and figuratively.
Literally and figuratively. And, look, Eastern Illinois, you think, directional school, right. These guys can't play. That's wrong. This was a solid basketball team, well put together team, and to go out there and essentially dominate the game, really, from the open and tap all the way to the end, was very, very impressive. It's, I'll go ahead and say right now, to me, the biggest takeaway from this entire thing is where did this team start off the season? At what level did it start with? Yeah. Because the significance of that is it's a young team, lots of newcomers, and you expect a team like that to improve a great deal over the season. Now, if you're starting at a very low level, you can improve a great deal and you're still mediocre at the end of the season. Yeah. Right? But if you start the season at a high level and then you get that improvement, then hey, where do you wind up? Pretty darn good. So, and they started at a high level. So if we project the improvement over the rest of the season that you would think is going to happen with a team of this relative inexperience, then man, and with the coaching staff that they've got coaching these guys up, this looks like another pretty good season.
Joe, I want to dive into the specific team, the specific performance last night, but it just dawned on me. We're here in the shadow of the USA. We have the Womble, which is going to be among the best college basketball facilities, and football included, certainly in basketball, but it's expected to be one of the very best college sports practice facilities in the country. You consider Chris Beard just being locked up for another long contract, just all the potential with this program right now. What is there really a ceiling for this program? You say they sold out the season opener, 15,000. This isn't a 10,000 seat arena. This is a big 15,000 seat arena. They sold it out. The students are going crazy like it was the Final Four in November on a Tuesday night against, as you said, directional Eastern Illinois. Where's this train headed, man? It's on the tracks. Where is it headed, Joe?
I tell you that, man. It's I saw somebody somewhere, I think on the website, said Chris Beard wants to build his own blue blood.
Yeah. Yep.
And he may very well, and he's certainly well on the way to accomplishing that. If he has another 3 seasons like he's had these first 3 seasons, then at that point, Tech is a baby blue. Yes. Right there. It's right up there with a Villanova, Michigan State, and Arizona, somebody like that. And then, it's just, where do you go from there? If he was to stay here for his entire career and coach for another 30 years after that, then he's the Coach K of
West Texas,
the Western or the Southwest. Yeah, the Coach K of the Southwest, and Texas Tech is really one of the elite, truly top elite of the elite basketball programs in the country. So, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but
this is dreaming, having fun.
Sure.
With tangible results to use as the foundation.
Yeah, and before Chris Beard came around, you couldn't have even thought of something like that. We couldn't talk about something like that, but now that is, it's not an unrealistic possibility, and I hope I live long enough to see it all.
It's interesting too, and we're going to get more in depth on this, but recruiting is better than ever too. They just landed a big prospect, Micah Peavy, who was actually in attendance for the game for the season opener Tuesday night. So there's a change. Like we're about to talk about how great this team looked on opening night this year. I truly believe next year's team is going to be even better. And I said that last year that they were going to have more talent possibly on the court and more depth this year. And I think that's a good segue, Joe. I think that's what we saw on opening night. Talent, depth, athleticism, I think I really want to start with the 2 freshman wings. It's guys we've talked about a lot in the offseason, but now the fans have seen them for real, not in the Bahamas, not, the box score or UTEP. I'm talking about at the USA in a real game. You saw Jemias Ramsey do his thing and TJ Shannon. I said he was a monster after I saw him in practice, how much taller he was. You saw him, said the same thing. Our eyes were bulging. Like, this he's ginormous. And I think everyone saw it too. Talk about those 2 freshmen, what they're bringing from the wings there. And both of them starting game 1. I think that says a lot, Joe.
Yeah, man. Well, again, you talk about the future, man. That's it. And it's just kind of the deal is do you keep those guys around for another year,
Right.
basically. Because I think as we go along in the season, and depending upon how they play against the better competition, they could be borderline one-and-done types.
Yeah.
Ramsey, man, there was a lot to be impressed with. I mean, he led the team in scoring, and he did kind of all the stuff that we thought he could do on the offensive end and on the defensive end. Had 3 steals, was just really played kind of a relatively error-free game.
Yeah.
And to me, one of the most impressive things was how he didn't try to force the issue with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew he was coming in with all kinds of hype. When the starting lineups were announced and Ramsey's name was announced, he may have got the loudest cheer out of anybody.
Yeah.
It was right up there with Moretti.
Yeah.
And so, there could be a tendency with a guy like that to come in and think, oh, man, I got to show everybody what I can do, and I got to take things into my own hands you step outside of the team concept and you just have a disappointing bad outing where you're turning the ball over, taking bad shots. And I didn't see that from him. He played a mature basketball game for his very first game at the college level. So that's what I saw.
And then Shannon, I know he's your guy.
Yeah.
Nobody's been higher for longer than Mighty Joe Yeager on Terrence Shannon, and man, I think he showed everybody why on Tuesday night.
I know, man. I've been smoking the Shannon crack here for a while.
Well, for good reason. I mean,
and it turns out I think I was right on this. I mean, based on one game now.
no, I think it's going to play out. I put the mortgage on. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right, we'll put Jarrett's mortgage on this.
No.
And
Hypothetically,
okay. All right. But yeah, I mean, boy, he's at least 6'7" now. He may be 6'8".
Yeah.
He's right up there with Holyfield. Holyfield's 6'8".
Yeah.
They're similar height,
Yeah.
So the guy has shot up a couple of inches since his recruitment ended. All right.
Yep.
So we don't know where he's going to stop. I think probably he'll wind up at least 6'9". So you project that sort of size, what he's got right now, what he could have in the near future, with an incredible skill set. You just don't see many guys that size that have that quick of a burst and that much speed and that much ability just to elevate.
Yeah.
And an aggressive mentality as well. I mean, he's got a happy face on the court all the time, but man, the dude is like an assassin or something when he gets. He treats the rim, like it slapped his mama or something. And he's just going after it and trying to punish it all the time.
You know what else too? Since you brought up just right there, he has that uncanny ability, like Zaire Smith did, where it looks like he's jumping in the air. He has you think he's reached his peak, and then he goes for another 6 inches to a foot in the air, and that's when guys are potentially getting embarrassed.
Yeah, I know. And what I'm wanting to see because of his size and that ability to elevate is when we're going to see him, and it's obviously very early, but on some pick and roll situations where he's the guy giving and going, and because I think he could be deadly in that regard, just to see, what his hands are like and the timing and all that. But that's something to look forward to on down the line. But really just an athletic and a physical freak. And if he's not on NBA radars right now, he's going to be very, very soon.
Another huge positive, and he was your player of the game afterward, is TJ Holyfield. He looked better than I could have hoped for offensively. I mean, he looks smooth. I step back behind the back, baseline J's, deep three-pointers, scoring with nice touch inside the paint. TJ looked like the guy that Tech faced when he was the Stephen F. Austin, when he was MVP of their conference tournament. He looked like that. I was expecting more rust, having been hurt, having been out for a year. Nah, he came out looking like he was, the man.
Yeah, he's a classic case of, going into this game, there was a little question mark running through my mind and the question was this, or the possibility.
Yeah.
Okay, now they didn't look all that good in the Bahamas. Didn't
Right.
do much against UTEP. Got beaten that scrimmage by 15 against Houston.
Yeah.
And so we were all kind of concerned about this.
Sure.
And there was something inside of me saying, okay, but maybe when the lights come on for real,
Yeah.
these guys click. And maybe that's all it takes is for everybody to put things together and to be seriously motivated, and then look out, then the real Red Raiders are going to show up. Well, I mean, Holyfield is the case in point for
Right.
that, because, I mean, he looked kind of blah, blah as much as anybody in these scrimmages and so forth
Right.
and so on. But, man, he turned it on last night. There was no question about it.
Let me ask you something that occurred to me, because I know that you were as surprised as I was. Not that they won, not that they looked good, but that they looked so good. I mean, offensively, it was really, they meshed better than I could have hoped for a month into it, really, to be honest. And defensively, they seemed to really know what the game plan was. They had that no middle going. They were playing team ball. I thought they looked really good. I think Beard was a little surprised, quite honestly. And he looked like, I watched the post-game presser. I know you and Bradley both were there. And he said he was expecting a grind game. And I don't think that was just coach speak. I think he, like you said, Eastern Illinois is a quality squad, as we're getting rained on now here in the hub. But I think he was surprised. What do you think, Joe? Before we wrap it up and get out of this rain, do you think Beard was a little surprised at just how well they played in the opener?
Well, he looked like the cat that swallowed the canary. He really did. I mean, he looked pretty darn happy.
Yeah.
And I think he probably was surprised. I was surprised.
Yeah,
I guess you were surprised. Everybody was surprised.
Yeah.
And I think he probably was pleasantly surprised. And I think maybe he now knows kind of what he's got a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's better than he expected. And maybe, he said there's still going to be highs and lows.
Oh, yeah. And I expect
And there
that
will
too.
be.
Yeah.
There will be such a young team. But it may not be quite as bad as anticipated, and the ceiling for this
Maybe
team
higher.
may be higher than anticipated. So, he looks like he's working the magic again.
And we're expecting to get word about Joel and Tomboy. That's the word this week. So possibly by Thursday. So the ceiling could even just get that much higher, Mighty Joe. So, man, so much excitement, so much potential, both right now and in the future with this Red Raider basketball club. But, man, great stuff from you as always. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.